My name is Alice. Hello, everyone. This is. I knew Leon would know what this was. It can only be one melody. This is day 67 of the cold call. I hope this little melody, I mean, it wasn't accurate enough. I think it's no strike. It was my interpretation of My Name is Skrillex, but we're like completely off the race from the start, which is fine. Welcome, everyone. Okay, now let's get on to like day 67, 100 Days of Code. Special guest, Leon Andersen. How are you doing?
Hello, hello. Today I pubbed a video like I pubbed and I did it. um, one one video of the course I managed to watch today because it was quite a full day. Um, and yeah, the video was the first one of the deploying section in Yelp Camp. And basically we were at Mongo Atlas, which is I would, as far as I understand it, it's like a web service that uses MongoDB structures or the MongoDB framework in combination with different hosting services like AWS, and I don't know what the others were, but you could pick from a few, and this basically will help us to host our database, our Mongo database that we so far have on our local device. Will help us host it in the cloud, in one of the clouds, and thereby make it accessible to users of our website or progressive web app or whatever we are using the MongoDB with. And yeah, one thing with it was that one detail that I found interesting was that we want to have both a local database and also an online database. And so the online one is the real one with our users, with our actual users, and the offline one is for development purposes, so we can make mistakes, maybe even delete data by accident. So we're basically not testing our code, working on the code with our real database. I found that an interesting detail. And yeah, so like there were some steps like whitelisting our IP, and requiring some path. I don't know if it's some kind of API key, as far as I understood it, with our password inside, and we have to store our .env file. And yeah, that's basically the basic setup already. And then as far as I get it, in the next videos we will see more on the interaction of this with all the other elements. When we loaded our website from that point, or in that state, the website loaded, but we didn't have any campgrounds or users inside. So that was a good not proof, but was pointing to that this it's actually a the the hosted one. And what I found interesting was that in the UI of that Mongo Atlas, we had basically like instead of typing find by or find collections and list collections and all that stuff, we had like for our different collections we have different tabs that we can open. And I found that interesting to, or I would say it's probably a nice way to have a good overview about bigger databases. I don't know if later I will be, or it's normal for programmers to work in this UI. I guess it's a matter of taste to work in that UI versus terminal terminal yeah steering leader controlling the or interacting via the terminal. And yeah, I had one question, and that was like, because we connected the app to the cluster of Mongo Atlas. The cluster is, as far as I understood it, like the server, maybe like the a part of a server we are using, a part of their server, and we are basically putting that link inside of our env file, but we're not putting anything inside of Mongo Atlas. That so I was wondering. I mean, it's pretty much the same dynamic with the Mapbox, and now Mapbox, I think, yeah, we had an API key there as well, but also with the, how's it called, Cloudinary. I'm not sure if we linked both ways to the app and from the app, but I was wondering, like, is Node.js then accessing the internet, and does the connection get created through Node.js, which then connects to Mongo Atlas, or like what is like the chain of connection there?
Yeah, so when you host your app somewhere, it talks depending on where it is and where it lives. Right, there are certain specifics here, but as a general rule of thumb, it's probably going to interact with the database either via like a special connection, but it can also be through HTTPS, and then it might just be internally inside of the server farm, for example, AWS or something. And therefore the connection will be super fast. And usually if you host everything on AWS, there are special connections between the database and your application. So that it's not even like a HTTP request, but it's just like a direct connection to the database. And if you run your stuff locally, then it's definitely, and you're still using that hosted database from your local setup, that is definitely connecting through that setup using the internet and probably also using the HTTP protocol, but you know.
Okay, and like there hasn't been too much about the HTTP protocol. Are there like important stuff that I need to know, or well, maybe I tell you what I know, and then you can
Sure.
tell me if there's more important stuff to know. So I know that there's HTTP and HTTPS. The HTTPS is the secured one. As far as I understand, you need like some certificates for that. Not sure where you like makes those certificates, but and yeah, I know that we write HTTPS and HTTP before the URL that we use in the browser, but yeah, and it's like, I know, as far as it's an encryption tool that, as I understand, the only the browser, for example, and then the server can read what's being transmitted, but no one in between could do anything valuable with the data. Yeah, that's as much.
Yeah, that was all correct, right? And you have those different methods: get, post, put, delete. And the connection, it depends on the setup, right? So it could be that you supply, for example, your cluster ID or something, and then the SDK that you're leveraging internally connects to the right URL. Usually you also have to supply like a specific key, which is then used to authenticate yourself, right? So not everyone can just use your database. So you can rest assured that there's like proper security built into those tools, especially if it's big tools like Mongo, Atlas, or something AWS related.
And like, do I need a port for HTTP or HTTPS, or is that like automatically encrypting?
But that's all handled by the tools that you use usually. It depends, right? I don't want to say it's always like that because there are exceptions, but usually you will be made aware of the exact thing that you need to do to use stuff safely in the documentation of the respective tool that you're using. So there's not much room for error or misconfiguration.
Okay. So could one say that HTTP is the is like a file format for what is being transmitted before it's being encrypted again?
No, HTTP is a protocol to communicate between servers. It just means hypertext transfer protocol.
Okay, what is a protocol?
A protocol is a set of rules that people agree on, under which they know how to encode and decode messages.
Okay, and do the rules of the protocol already include the encryption and decryption methods, or
If the protocol has encryption and decryption, usually yes. I mean, if
yeah,
you want to
I mean,
get super technical, you can just look up HTTP protocol specification on Google, and then because usually all protocols are completely dry and boring, right? They usually consists of like, depending on what protocol it is, maybe just 10 or maybe hundreds of pages of exactly how the underlying specification is to be implemented, right? But only people that maintain the software, the adapters, basically the open source software or the closed source software, they are the ones who have to worry about all the details, because usually you as a developer, everything is abstracted away for you so that you only need to handle the stuff that you want to do.
yes. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's it for this quest for this. But I'm noticing that I have some unanswered from video yesterday that I might not have asked yesterday. Can I ask as well? Just like two questions.
Yeah, sure.
So with what was the name? Content policy something in the helmet. Well, let me check out this content security policy. Configuration in the helmet package. We basically restricted where image sources can, like what the sources of the images on our web page can be. And I was wondering if that also restricts what the uploader could be, because like sure, as soon as a video as an image is inside of our database, this means the campground has been created and we now store the campground and we now display it. So for those like created campgrounds, it makes sense to have them all from one source, which is our database, our Cloudinary host. But is this making sure that the when we want to upload new photos, I mean, I guess the answer is that what is it? Yeah, wondering if content security policy, these restriction on the image sources, if this also restricts from where someone can upload. So for example, when I'm creating campground, I can choose files. So can the files only from my local, like from certain, like the files can be from different IPs, right? Like any user can have a different IP. Does that affect the choosing of the files as well, the content security policy thing, or not? That I don't know. It's a bit convoluted, but I was just
I don't know, because like I've never configured a content security policy like that with Helmet. Usually browsers are super privacy focused anyway. So even if you take like the biggest data grabber, Chrome, for example, if you upload an image in Chrome, you as a developer don't even get to know the file path for that image.
okay.
Let alone IP or anything else. Like browsers are just, and because that's also all dependent on all of these protocols that like there are huge protocols around how to implement browsers, how each button has to function, right? Because they all need to coordinate. If Microsoft, Firefox, and even like small browsers, like independent privacy-focused browsers, I'm not even talking Brave, I'm talking smaller, like I think there's like a North Fox or something, like this blue browser, all of them, they all agree to the protocol. And these protocols are usually led by huge panels of a mixture of some obviously closed source big companies, because they have the most say in the system, or because most people use the browsers, but at the same time also like the open source maintainers and stuff. So it's just this huge conglomerate of people working together, deciding on the protocol. And like Safari, for example, Apple are usually the ones with the middle finger that agree to the protocols, but they usually implement them super late. And that means very often Safari users have features very late, and also Safari only ships updates to their browser once or twice per year. So while other browsers like Chrome, Firefox, and they all ship browsers pretty much every week, new versions, and implement newest features and stuff, Safari is just chilling, that taking it very slow.
Okay. And so, like, don't browsers show the websites that we visit our IP?
Yes, but not when you upload a file. So in the request that you send, you can see the IP unless they use stuff to fudge with it, right? Yeah, the user can obviously do stuff to obfuscate where your request comes from.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Um, okay, I'm reading the other question I had now, but I think that I think I already answered it myself. Now that I'm reading it, but um, we had the issue that Colt always had to log in, like he got logged out very fast. But and I was wondering, like, didn't we implemented session cookies? Why do we always have to log back in again? And then I thought, oh, it's probably because NodeMon is always restarting the server when we make any changes. So does that affect the session cookie as well?
No,
Okay.
unless you save something in the database that is associated to the cookie, right? Where we talked about, you can have sessions or let's say in the cookie you write the user ID, and then every time you rerun the server, you wipe it. And you need to create a new user ID. Obviously, yes, that would have the same effect as logging you out. But in general, I don't know really what's going on with it because I don't know code that well. But you don't have to worry about that stuff when we're going to get to the newest stuff because you log in and then you stay logged in until you log out.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, that was it.
Well, then thanks everyone for watching. As you can see, sometimes you just watch one video, but you also learn a lot. It was only 10 minutes. So we do our uni lesson from this one, which is just expose yourself to a little bit of code every day, and your understanding of all of this will grow. So thank you very much for watching. If you're watching the recording during of live, it's always fun. And this has been day 67 of the Code Call with
Leon Andersen and my mentor.
NF Mill from today's dev. Bye bye.
Bye bye until tomorrow.